Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome here to Facebook Live to the card reveal live stream for Emerge 28 Emergence Day 3. And alongside me, as always, A.W. Lurch, Commissioner Chris Lowe, and Commish, as I say, a card reveal live stream. It almost doesn't seem as much like we're revealing the card as reviewing it. You know, some cards, it takes a long time to work together. Some of them have a tendency to fall into your lap, and we have had an amazing card begin to fall into our lap here.
And you take it to the fact that this is the anniversary of Emerge. You can't just go throwing a card like this together willy-nilly. It takes a lot of planning. So that's what we've done.
Absolutely, and you think about, the fact that Emerge will be beginning year 4. This is the 3rd anniversary, and this is don't worry, the math checks out, believe it or not. It sounds weird, but entering the 4th year, concluding the full 3rd year there. This is a monumental show for Emerge, and we're thinking it's going to be one of the biggest, if not the biggest show that Emerge has ever had a chance to be a part of, and this card absolutely backs it up. So if you're thinking about coming at all, trust me, these are going fast. Get with the Emerge offices, get with somebody, get your tickets. And
I checked with Monica. It seems all the ringside seats have already sold out.
Yeah, we sold out front row before the doors even open for Emerge 27. Those are the kind of fans that we have. We thank you for it. And Lurch, some fantastic matches we have underway, but some fantastic deals on our website. Just recently opened the online store, and I know you're all about those deals, so I'll let you get to it.
3 DVDs for $20, folks. You're looking at the lineup right in front of us. 3 DVDs, $20. And right now, if you buy 2 tickets, you can get a DVD for $5 extra, folks. I mean, that's 2 tickets, a DVD for $25. Right now, emergewrestling.com.
Absolutely. You take advantage of those online-only deals. Those are an incredible, incredible way to...
Be dialing, people.
Yeah, it doesn't... Oh. I mean, unless they have dial-up, which I find highly unlikely. I want to start out this show by, of course, thanking you, the fans, just like it seems like we always do. Emerge 27 was another fantastic show that we all were pleasured and honored to be a part of, and we had a fantastic crowd on hand, a crowd that was loud all night, a crowd that gave us everything we had, and it's you guys that we need to thank for that.
Absolutely.
So, getting on to it, let's start to run down the card for Emergence Day 3. As always, Chris Lowe, we start with the Copies and More Facebook live stream match, in a match that almost seems a little bit redundant when you look at it. Firstly, this is a qualifier for the Outbreak 8 tournament, and one of the participants has already qualified for the tournament. But those of you that have been with us here from the beginning of this live stream saw the confrontation between Apollo Star and Scotty Young. Was this something you basically just needed to sign the papers on?
Basically, and just real quick, anybody who thinks professional wrestling is just guys beating the hell out of each other, Poison Apollo Star proved why this is a thinking man's game, and he did it by basically egging Scotty Young into offering up his opportunity into the Outbreak 8 tournament.
Went up to Scotty Young backstage, said, "Hey, do you want to put that shot on the line against me? Prove that you're truly better." Scotty Young, though, perhaps a little bit of buyer's remorse on that deal, Lurch.
Yeah, but Commish, you shouldn't even allowed that match. I mean, Scotty wasn't thinking clearly at the time. I mean, he was. I mean, he's probably so hyped up about his debut of his new interest music, Forever Young. I mean, he probably just wasn't even really, grasping the situation. I mean, he was already in the tournament. Of
course he was already in the tournament, but are you saying Scotty Young can't handle his business? Is that what I'm hearing?
I don't know. I just hope Scotty.
I respect Scotty Young, and I believe that he can do whatever he sets his mind to.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, Scotty Young is probably one of the top talents in Emerge. I mean,
no doubt.
I mean, there's no doubt about that. But he shouldn't have. I mean, come on. Scotty, you're in the tournament already, and now you got Apollo to go through to get back into the tournament, man. Come on.
No matter the way that you look at it, this is, and we have had a lot of really good matches on that Copies and More Facebook live stream there at 6:40 before the shows, but this, I think, has the potential to top all of them. We're talking about a former E8 tournament winner, a former Emerge champion, and Apollo star, and Scotty Young, somebody who, if he wins this match, might end up being your next Outbreak champion, depending on how things go. This can be a classic of a match, and these two guys are very familiar with each other.
Yeah, I like matches like these because they make themselves, and all I've got to do is sign the paperwork.
Well, it's almost as if you're queuing up the next segment here, matches that made themselves. Our first match for the Emerge Tag Team Championship, a strap match between Warfare Jeremy Hadley and Kinetic Cole Radrick. They will be taking on the Hellfire Club. And this is not a strap match like you would have seen back in the 80s, perhaps in Memphis. This is not a situation where only the competitors get to use the straps. Chris, you get to get in as the fan on this action. It's an Emerge interactive experience.
That's very well put, Casey. Yes, we're going to be selling leather straps before the start of the show. And the deal is, should any wrestler find themselves outside of the ring, if they end up outside of the ring on where you happen to be setting, you're more than welcome to take a shot at their back, at their legs. Don't go for their face or anywhere else that you shouldn't. But you're going to have an opportunity to whip some tail, as it were.
Can I buy a leather strap?
What do you think?
At the risk of either Jeremy Hadley or Cole Radrick taking it away from you and you being the recipient, I would not recommend that.
I might allow it.
I'll think about it.
But this seems to be the culmination of a deep-seated issue between these two teams. Of course, Jeremy Hadley and Cole Radrick were part of the original Hellfire Club, and now the Hellfire Club is here, the new Hellfire Club 2.0, as they like to put it. And one interesting note about the Hellfire Club, Lurch, going into this, we don't even know about Dave Davidson, his injury. I understand, Chris, that you did confirm the injury is real.
Correct. There were some. I'll admit, I was skeptical that knee injury was legit. Turns out it was. Dave went to the doctor the following day, had some X-rays done. What was it? Dislocated or I don't remember what I told you.
I believe it was. He does have to wear the brace definitely for 3 weeks. Status still relatively up in the air. As we understand it, he will be wrestling that night. The Hellfire Club will be defending their titles in some form or another in this strap match.
And now you all can admit that I was right. I told you all he was hurt. I witnessed it. I told you all he wasn't faking it, and he came out there and he was hurt. So there you go. Thank you. And everybody out there watching live heard it.
A.W. Lurch, happy that his friend got hurt.
No, happy that I was right, and you all had to admit it.
I admit it.
I wish Dave Davidson the best.
I've heard it both ways. But no matter what the roster is going to look like for this match, we know that these guys are not going to take it easy on each other. And let's face it, apart from some fans with still some deep-seated issues with Jeremy Hadley and Cole Radrick, I don't really expect them to be on the receiving end of very many of those straps. I have a feeling that the Hellfire Club are going to feel the brunt of it, and if the Hellfire Club does feel the brunt of it, and if they do lose those titles, I understand there's a special stipulation too.
Yes, specifically, Christopher Icon will be drug around ringside, where fans will have the opportunity to use their straps on Icon's back, legs.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, Commish? You cannot put Christopher Icon at risk like that. That's not fair. Come on.
Well, I gotta mention the Hellfire Club were the ones to introduce leather straps to begin with.
It's a very good point. In our last Copies and More Facebook live stream, match.
Yeah.
I guess it was not scheduled necessarily, but they did use those straps against Hadley and Radrick.
Well, still, I mean, now you're talking about the Emerge fan base using that strap. I mean, are you serious? I mean, those people are insane. Have you met those people? Have you talked to those people? I mean, they're going to destroy whoever's getting ringside.
I think a little more of our Emerge fan base than you, apparently. But something you mentioned, Casey, I wanted to touch on. You said that the Hellfire Club would most likely get the brunt of any fan backlash. Cole Radrick is nuts, and if he finds himself outside of the ring and at ringside, I can see him asking for a lashing or two just for fun.
I can definitely see that point. And again, as Chris mentioned earlier, obviously we don't want you hitting them in the face.
No.
We don't want you hitting them anywhere else that is especially tender. Keep it above board and have fun. Besides, welts look best on the back anyway.
That's true.
So another issue that, and this is another one that kind of just fell into our lap here, is the situation that spawned from the tag team match that went on second at the show just over a week ago, that being ATM and Brett Havoc versus Jordan Cage and Jerry Andrews. ATM's team picks up the win, therefore ATM got to choose his match, and I think he chose the picture-perfect match for the occasion.
Well said. Both men have been going on about how they were the stronger man in in their former iteration as tag team champions, and Cage has been referring to ATM as a quitter over and over and over, and ATM wants an opportunity to show that's not the case and to make picture perfect Jordan Cage utter the words "I quit."
Jordan Cage is not a quitter. I have never seen Jordan Cage quit in any circumstance. I don't know what. There's no way he's going to quit against ATM.
2 months ago, ATM versus Jordan Cage one-on-one. Jordan Cage just leaves the match, just walked out and never came back.
He had some. I talked to Jordan Cage. He called me. I was considering
The month before that, Jordan Cage leaves a tag team match in which ATM had to face BAD on his own. That one happened at Emerge 24. Just walked away.
He was injured that day. Wasn't he? He was wheeling around. He wheeled out of there. I mean, that's not fair.
No. I'm referring to the match that he was actually competing in once he got cleared.
I do not recall what you were referring to. I don't see Jordan Cage quitting here, and I've never seen him quit before.
Well, maybe you can buy it on DVD at Emergence Day 3.
Well, you can buy 3 for $20 from what I've heard online right now.
And what do you get if you throw in an extra
If
$5?
you spend an extra $5, you can get 2 tickets and 1 DVD at the door.
All righty. What a deal.
Either way, though, for as much as we skirt around their rivalry here, this has the potential to be a pretty hard-hitting match. I mean, these guys are at each other's throats and have been for a long time. One of them is going to have to take that microphone and say, "I quit" into it. That's the only way that this match is ending.
No way it's Jordan Cage. Get ready to hear ATM spit that out like a hot receipt. I quit. That's what he's going to say.
Interesting.
Well, match number 3 here. Our second championship match of the evening, and one that this is, I believe, the one match on the card that we've not spoken yet about at all. Triple threat match for the Outbreak Championship. Of course, taking on Lennox Norris is going to be, for one, beautiful Brett Havoc. And then, for 2, a man who was instrumental in that second calendar year of Emerge there and getting Emerge to where it is today. The return of the Flowin' Samoan Anthony Totelli and his wife Kenzie.
Right, Brett Havoc earned this opportunity by being on the winning side of the earlier match we talked about with ATM against Picture Perfect Jordan Cage and Jerry Andrews. And what more can you say about Anthony Totelli? You mentioned it, he was instrumental in the growth of Emerge, especially in year 2. We haven't seen him in several months, and quite frankly, I would like to see him back a lot more. And what better way to convince a guy to stay than by becoming champion?
Yeah, what better way than to get the Outbreak Championship off Lennox Norris than to put him up against two people?
Here we go.
Yeah, just like the booking committee, always holding Lennox Norris back. People need to understand. People need to believe and listen to Lennox Norris, what he's talking about. And by the way, speaking of what he's talking about, he was right about what he said about the city of Columbus. He was right about what? Yeah, he was. He was.
Dude, it's our fan base, man. I think, don't you have some amount of respect for those fans who come out each and every month? They don't deserve that, especially from a champion, someone who's supposed to represent this company.
You're clearly targeting him. You're silencing him for his outspoken views. It's obvious, Commish.
I allowed the video to air. How am I silencing him?
Yeah, you don't want that Outbreak Championship on Lennox Norris. That's the truth. That's the truth.
I want
obvious.
the best man to represent the best company in the Midwest. That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, Casey.
No, it's fine. I was enjoying that quite a bit, actually. You got one little hair out of place.
Thank you. Thanks for that.
Match number 4 here on this positively stacked card.
Long-haired hippie.
Okay. Heard something about a pot and a kettle. Tables match. This match is one that I had a direct hand in the creation of it. So, Marc Vandy has never won a match in Emerge. Not once has his hand ever been raised, and on this live stream, he has called in and begged you for shots before. And after that match was over, and after he lost to Trevor Court again, I felt I had to ask him, because there was a lot of talk around this last match. If he can't pull this off, maybe he doesn't come back. And
well, I'll tell you right now that was the case. We've got so many guys. You're in the office. You've seen the emails. You've seen the videos we get. You've seen the
received
Facebook.
them.
So many guys want a shot in Emerge. And no disrespect against Marc Vandy, but if you can't produce, you can't be here.
That being said, I think over the course of that interview, you saw the same shift in him that I did. I walked in and began interviewing a broken man, but as he began to talk, he began to get more passionate, and he begged you with a look in his eye that it's two shows now that I've stood in the ring and interviewed somebody, and for as determined as Donnie Idol proved himself to be in that in-ring interview, and I said this on Commentary Lurch, I saw that same look in Marc Vandy's eyes, begging you for one more shot. And we have to take into account, perhaps, Lurch, that going through that table really messed with Marc Vandy's manhood.
No, there's no doubt. I mean, he was dropped on his head right off the ring apron. I mean, went straight down to the floor through that table. And even the greatest show on earth, Trevor Court, was reluctant to take the tables match against Marc Vandy because of that. I mean, he said, he told you, Commish, you're sick. You're sick for booking the match.
Well, what really made me decide to go ahead and book this match, you're right. When Marc Vandy went through that, he's not the same guy he was when he went before he went through the table.
No.
The fact that he is willing to face his fear, to face potentially going through a table again, not only that, but against the guy who put him through the table to begin with, he deserves one more shot.
And why don't you book this match, at the anniversary show where Marc Vandy is very, very determined? You know he's going to pull out his best performance. You know he's going to give it a good show. And he said himself, you didn't even have to lay down the law. He said, hey, if I go through that table, you'll never have to deal with me again. So I think this is a perfect match to put a little bow on this issue between these two guys. Hopefully both of them can move on and go to great things after this. But it benefits you, the Emerge fan, because you're going to see somebody go through a table at this show. 100% confirmed because it's a tables match.
And let's be honest, Trevor Court, he's got those child support gimmicks going on. So I mean, he's got a reason to be there.
It's the only reason he took the match.
That's what he said.
Yeah. After I made the match, he came out to ringside and said that he'd rather quit, but he changed his mind when I offered him his contract to tear up.
Got to do what you got to do.
I'm glad he stayed. He stayed.
Very talented individual. Match 5, Women's Championship. This match was set at our November show at Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Karma will be taking on a relative Emerge newcomer, but somebody who is connecting with the fans in an incredible way, and Karma notices that too and gives her all the credit. Lainey Luck. It's a fantastic number 1 contender.
Right, and Karma claimed the Emerge Women's Championship back at Emerge 22 when she defeated Haley Shadows. Lainey Luck defeated Randy West for an opportunity at the title. You mentioned both women are huge fan favorites. Kind of a clash of styles, yet similar, I guess. But either way, it's going to be a fantastic match, and whoever comes out on top is going to make a fine champion in the Emerge Women's Division.
And one thing that you can't fail to take into account is the fact that Karma has been itching now for the better part of this year to defend this championship. Every time the card came out, it was, when do I get to defend my championship? She's by all means a fighting champion. She's wanted this, and it just so happened to have lined up that Emergence Day was the perfect time to go up against Lainey Luck.
And by the way, Commish, when Lainey Luck gets to the airport, I do have an extra seat in my car if she needs somebody to take her to the arena. Just letting you know.
I'll keep that in mind, Lurch.
Yeah, just so you know that.
Okay.
Do you have any thoughts about perhaps the actual match?
I cannot wait to watch Lainey Luck rip that Emerge Championship.
Whoa!
Lainey Luck, you're your next Emerge Women's Champion right there. I cannot wait. And I'm hoping if my driving services go well tonight, we can make this like a long-term thing too. Just in case, just something to think about. I know you got to do the logistics.
Right.
Have you ever heard the term once bitten, twice shy?
I think so.
Never bitten, twice hungry. Either way, one of these ladies is going to emerge as the women's championship, and you can imagine Lainey Luck has everything to prove and emerge, and Karma still has everything to prove. She got a hold of that women's championship, but she hasn't yet defended it, so it'll be an incredibly interesting matchup here between these two women. But match 6, you talk about everything to prove. We have the last man standing match.
The Mastodon, J.D. Mariani, finally gets his hands on the Midwest Monster, Jacob Johns.
I mean, can you really call it a last man standing match? I mean, you said it yourself, Casey Johnson, at the last show. This is more than that, right?
Yeah, last monster standing is the little nickname that we've given it. And indeed, if all 4 walls of the Parkside Elementary Gymnasium are still standing by the end of it, I'll be amazed. These men, a combined 800 pounds will be in that ring, and one of them is not going to leave on his feet, which reminds me, you might want to bolster security because somebody is going to have to carry one of them out of here. And I highly doubt that it's going to end any other way than somebody being helped to the back.
I tend to agree with you. I mean, Mariani is out for revenge. Think about it. Jacob John stole JD's manager, stole his wife. It's going to get ugly.
And how ironic that J.D. Mariani and Jacob Johns are those two men, Lurch, that it seems like you can never take off your feet. A lot of times it takes 5 minutes into the match before you can even fell one of these guys, and one of them is going to remain on his back for a 10 count by the time it's all said and done. It goes to show the power of both of these men, but also the power of their rivalry.
I expect that 10 count to happen when J.D. Mariani is laying in that middle of the ring as the Midwest Monster with Nicky Mariani standing over them.
Of course, Jacob Johns does have an inherent advantage here in Nicky Mariani. There are no disqualifications, no countouts, pinfalls, submissions, nothing except that 10 count. So if Nicky Mariani wants to insert herself into this match, it's completely within the rules of the match to do so. It's definitely a plus. We've seen how dastardly she can be, and I would dare say at Downtown Throwdown, the only reason that J.D. Mariani lost that match was because Nicky Mariani interfered.
That's right.
Yeah, Nicky has proven her value over the years, mainly with the Mastodon, but this is going to be her opportunity to show how valuable she truly is.
And think about what J.D. Mariani said on the microphone at the end of Emerge 27. I tried to catch up with him a couple times, and you guys saw the video one time of him saying, I'm not giving a comment. I will say whatever I need to say to whom I need to say it. And oh my Lord, if the message was not loud and clear by the end of Emerge 27. He says to Jake, he says to Nicky, you took away the one thing that I loved most. So I took away the thing that is the most important to you. That was that shot at the Emerge Championship. Of course, Chris Caliber, valiant fighter, he had a significant help there from J.D. Mariani in a situation that we had a solid idea was going to boil over at some point. I mean, they can attack J.D. Mariani and leave him laying, but we all knew that at some point this was going to come to a head, and lucky for us, it's on this stacked card here at Emergence Day. But what that means is that in our main event for the Emerge Championship, Chris Caliber will be taking on DeMonsta Congo Kong.
Wow. I mean, is this not the biggest match Emerge has ever had? I mean, you look at right up on par with Raven at Downtown Throwdown. Caliber's proving how much the Emerge Championship means to him, and that he's really the workhorse.
And no Emerge champion before this has faced the same level of competition on a monthly basis as Chris Caliber. So you've got to wonder, Chris Caliber, is at the top of his game. He told me personally that that match with Chris Silvio woke him up, and that it was time for him to be the best. Again, he knew how good he can be, and it's time to be the best. And I think we saw the heights to which he's willing to go at Violent Night.
I think we just witnessed the peak of Chris Caliber's career. I mean, we saw him leaving the Midwest Monster laying, but you are going to see something different, folks. Congo Kong is something else. We've seen Congo Kong catch 3 and 4 people and throw them over his head, throw them into the crowd, dive over the top rope. We've seen Congo Kong win championships all around the country, all over his television exposure, and now you're going to see him hold that Emerge Championship, baby. Cannot wait.
Yeah, it'll be a fantastic match either way. What a great way to close out Emergence Day 3.
Say what you will about Congo Kong, Chris Caliber is ready to give his last breath to keep that championship, and indeed, he might end up drawing his last breath if Congo Kong gets a hold of him, but make no mistake, Chris Caliber will go to war, and we will get a match that is sure to be a match for the ages here in Emerge, and that is your card, ladies and gentlemen, for Emergence Day 3. For those of you who might have joined us halfway through, I'll very quickly run through it again. Copies and More Facebook live stream match, a Outbreak 8 qualifier match, Poison Apollo star against Scotty Young, who's putting his spot in the tournament that he already won on the line. We have Emerge Tag Team Championship strap match, Jeremy Hadley, Cole Radrick against the Hellfire Club, in which you, yes you, get the chance to buy some straps and to use them to take out all that pin-up frustration that you have for the Hellfire Club on them directly. We have an I Quit match between ATM and Picture Perfect Jordan Cage. One of them will say the words I quit. We have the Outbreak Championship triple threat match. The bronze one, Lennox Norris, will be defending against Beautiful Brett Havoc and the Flowing Samoan Anthony Totelli. A tables match with Trevor Court and Marc Vandy looking to settle their nearly year-long feud. We have the Women's Championship being defended, Karma versus Laney Luck. We have a last monster standing match between JD Mariani and the Midwest Monster Jacob Johns. And finally, in your main event, Chris Caliber will be taking on the international superstar known as Congo Kong. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not already have your tickets, get a hold of them now. They are selling very, very quickly like wildfire, and you do not want to miss the biggest show that Emerge has ever seen. For Commissioner Chris Lowe, AW Lurch, my name is Casey Johnson. You guys have a great night.